Hi everybody, welcome back. Are you a survivor of narcissistic abuse? I am too. And if you're not, thank you for joining me today. I'm going to be talking about some key terms used in the dynamics of a narcissistic relationship. So it's important to bring awareness to this type of predatory behavior and pathology so that if you find yourself a target of narcissistic behavior, you're better able to just ward these people right out of your life, cut them off, and remove them. They're very predatory in nature, and the pathology in which they move is coming from a deep-rooted insecurity. They have a tendency to want to control other people because they lack in their own life. And in order to control others, they use very manipulative tendencies and tactics. So if you have ever been targeted by a narcissist, you are going to be initiated into a phase known as love bombing. And what that is they will shower you with a lot of attention. They'll be overly friendly, complimentary, buy you gifts, take you out to nice dinners, whining and dining you. They will just do things that are very fast in order to get you locked into a relationship with them, whether this is business or personal, okay? So it doesn't have to be romantic. They will also profile you. They will study you. They will watch you on social media. They will find ways to be in the same vicinity as you and you won't recognize it. Or they will just outright try to attach themselves to you in some way, just very, outward about it. And when they're profiling you, they're taking in your mannerisms, the way you sit, talk, dress, your little isms in which you use in your conversation. And what they'll do is they'll mirror that back to you in an effort to get you to feel comfortable, because now you feel there's some bond. It almost feels like you just met a friend that's just, your soulmate, or a partner, a lover, a romantic interest that now feels like, wow, too good to be true. I've never met somebody like you before. Well, it's because they're mirroring your good qualities right back to you. So it's a manipulative tactic that they use to get you to feel bonded to them. And when that happens, they start asking questions in a very conversational style to get you to open up about your life. And this is very predatory because they're using this information to extract from you to manipulate you later. So they'll talk to you about, in a very roundabout way, about where you live. They want to know how much money you make. They will ask you about your finances in some way. They'll ask questions that's not very direct, so you're not really aware of what their motives are. They want to know your fantasies. They want to know your vulnerabilities, your pain points. They'll talk to you about circumstances in life that have been very hurtful and harmful for you. And so a normal person hearing that kind of conversation, that's not something a sane person is going to be talking about and asking questions about, right up front. But with a narcissist, they're doing that in order to extract supply from you. They want to learn about you and know how to manipulate you. They have no qualm in using some of the most painful moments of your life to hurt you. So you got to be very careful when it comes to letting strangers into your life. Strangers, unfortunately, can even be sometimes family members. If these are people that you've only known because they're blood relatives, but you don't know them outside of that alone, still a stranger. Don't allow somebody like that in your life to ask questions that are personal in nature. If you feel off about somebody who's trying to attach themselves to you in your life too fast, too soon, that's a huge red flag. Get them out. Now, gaslighting. Gaslighting is when an abuser is trying to control the narrative. So, for example, you walk upon a scene where you see your partner cheating on you and you know what you're looking at, but they will lie, deny, and twist the facts around to get you to blur the lines of your actual truth and reality so that you see the narrative according to what they want you to see. And it's designed to confuse you and to throw you off and cause chaos into your life and to get you to not see the truth for how you know it to be, okay? And trauma bonding is where there is a very deep emotional connection to your abuser that is done through traumatic events that are associated with emotional, psychological, or even physical abuse. So somebody who's been subjected to some trauma, who has lack of boundaries and goes back to back to their abuser, that is now what you have formed an attachment known as trauma bonding. Now, future faking is when you've just met somebody and it's not really that you've just met someone. It could be that. I'm just going to use this as an example. Perhaps you just met someone and, a week in, this person has an angle. They want to sleep with you and it's just not going fast enough. So, the gifts that they're giving you, it's not, you're not dropping your guard fast enough. So now they're going to hook you with a future of taking you on vacation. They're even going to show you plans that this is in the works to get you to feel like, well, you're going to want to give them what they want in the now, but they have no intention of actually following through with these future plans. So they're doing things to manipulate you for self-serving reasons, to extract from you what they want right now with no intention of following through with future plans. Now, another example for that future faking could be, maybe it's a family member, as an example, who comes swooping in and with a sob woes me story in order to get you to open up your wall at your home. You're nurturing, providing them with something. But this woes me story that they're talking about isn't actually true, or whatever they're saying is going to happen to them in the near future is not real. They're just doing it to garner some sort of resources out of you. So that's just another example of future faking. Now, breadcrumbing is when you're in a relationship with a narcissist and they know how to hook you with just the bare minimum. They know that, what you'll accept and what you'll tolerate. Perhaps it's somebody that you met recently and you had a great couple of weeks and then they went ghost and you don't hear from them until they come swooping in 6 or 8 months later. And, if you don't have strong boundaries and you let somebody like this back into your life, they know that you are lacking and what you'll tolerate. So they may know that if they did this again to you, that you would be hurt, upset, but they know that they got away with it the first time. So there's nothing keeping them from doing it again. So if they are a dishonorable person, they'll continue with this behavior until you put an end to it. So, that's breadcrumbing, just keeping you hooked with a very bare minimum. And usually people who do things like that are looking for some kind of validation, some kind of ego boost. And they typically are doing this between other people. So you're just one of many. And they have no intention of actually giving you any real relationship or any genuine love and concern because they don't care about you. So they just give you just enough so that they can extract what they want to keep you hooked. And then we have triangulation, where, you have, I'm going to just give you an example. You have, you're in a relationship and your partner is angry with you, and rather than sit down and hash out the problems, they decide to be very passive aggressive and start cheating on you. So they go to another third party and they start confiding in this person and telling them about your personal life, your personal business, your personal conversations. And they manipulate this person who's only too willing to listen to their problems and give them sex and supply. And now they're angry on your partner's behalf and you don't know this person. So maybe by chance one day you're out and you're physically attacked and you just think, wow, I just had the worst day and it was just some one-off crazy who just really kind of, hurt me. And you have no idea that it was orchestrated by your loved one. Or perhaps you've had some kind of business connection or friendship that's gone sour and they're gossiping negatively about you to somebody else to incite their feelings of anger for them to you, and they get them to do their bidding. So it's in order to get another third party involved to send a message to you in some way, to communicate what they want. And, narcissists are extremely manipulative by nature, and they know that they can keep a certain specific couple of people, or they have very specific targets in their own circle of friends that they know are the weakest minded, that they can use as flying monkeys, or that they can manipulate because, that particular partner is just easier emotionally by design. They'll tolerate what you won't. So they do things to pit you against each other and to cause harm into your life by having a third party communicate what they won't do for you, what they won't do on their own behalf. Now, codependency is when there's a circular relationship with an element of abuse that is between two people that has this need to be needed. So, for example, you'll have a narcissist abuse, the victim, and the victim will, shy away and back off, and that's not what the narcissist wants. The narcissist needs to be needed, so they come swooping in like Prince or Princess Charming, and they then try to gloss over the events and of their actions. And now if you've lacked boundaries, because everybody in a relationship wants to be loved and seen, right, and needed. So if you go back to that element, that's where the circular dynamics of codependency will take place. And it's both stemming from a desire to be needed. Once that kind of dynamic is rooted, it's very hard to break. So just be very mindful of, your own dynamics and relationships. Now, we also have cognitive dissonance. I know a lot of people have heard of this and aren't really sure what that is. So it's a state of inconsistent thoughts, beliefs, attitudes relating to decisions by force. So using myself as an example, I had once upon a time dated this one guy, and I remember listening to some things that he was involved in. I remember asking him outright questions, and he not only lied to me, he also lied by omission, because there were self-serving interests of his that had he told me the actual truth, it would have caused me to make different decisions in my life that would bring me to safety and not ensnare me in a lot of danger. That actually just had, an element to serve his own interests. So, I ended up having to comply with the situation that I did not feel good about, and it felt like I didn't have a choice. I was forced to do it. So that's a really good example of cognitive dissonance, is when you are in a situation and forced to comply with things that you don't agree with. And lastly, we've got word salad. So word salad is when you want to have a conversation with a narcissist and they are always very pathological in the way that they live. So they're paranoid people. They're always afraid of being called out and found out. Or if you have to, really kind of hash out something of concern and of importance, they just don't want to be bothered. They would rather just continue to wear you down with confusing words and take your conversation off tangent and off the narrative into all of these circular conversations that make no sense, in an effort to exhaust you so that you will just drop the situation so that they can continue to garner the supply. So that's what they do. They like to use a lot of confusion through words, and that's word salad. So I hope that these key terms have been helpful. I hope the examples that I have provided have enlightened you into some narcissistic abusive tendencies and behaviors. And that if you do, like I said, if you have an element that's making you uncomfortable, do remove that from your life. If there's somebody that's making you feel that you're threatened or in danger, please do contact the authorities, and do not hesitate to file restraining orders and lawsuits. So thank you so much for your time, and please do not forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.